So as the quarters tick on, what are you going to be looking for from a short term or a long term point of view, whether that's profits, company execution, revenue?
Yeah. So the main thing, revenue right now. Obviously, we got to continue to see profitability and hopefully profitability ramp up, especially if revenue comes in better. But at the end of the day, I mean, Carp's been talking a pretty damn big game in some of these interviews and getting people pretty darn excited. So over the next, I would say 2 to 3 quarters, we need to start seeing that deal flow come through in terms of the numbers. Now, we're already hearing about a lot of deals announced. I mean, almost on a daily basis, it seems now at this point in time, we're hearing a new Palantir deal. So that's exciting. Great news. But we got to see it all, obviously, put into a quarterly report. What are the actual revenue numbers? So I want to see revenue that crushes what analysts have, just absolutely decimates it, not even close. Not like, oh, we were supposed to grow revenue 12%, but we grew at 14%. I just want to see them absolutely obliterate revenue. I want to see that EPS really come through, and I need to hear very strong commentary around future quarters. They don't have to give specific numbers, but I want to hear this all this demand we got coming in, all this interest is going to add up to some huge numbers over the next several quarters. So that's kind of what I'm looking for Palantir in the short term. And I want to hear, really, are they continuing to build out that sales team? Because they got this unbelievable opportunity in front of themselves. Everybody's, checking out AI products, trying to see what's out there. Palantir, we believe it's got the best of breed products. We need that sales team to convert. We need them to get deals done. We got the real deal Holyfield. And so the only thing that's preventing Palantir is just getting that sale done. So we need to make sure everything's on pace in terms of that.
Yeah, you mentioned the sales team there. We know that's something Alex Karp was really trying to roll out sort of 18 months ago, when he was talking about he's been the front guy, he's been getting all these big deals and etc. And then we had this sort of quiet period where the sales team was meant to be in, but we weren't seeing like a big explosion of deal flow. Recently, we've seen quite a lot of deal flow. It's a little bit difficult from the outside to analyze how well that sales team is doing. I mean, obviously, if we start seeing a huge amount of deals come in, we can assume they're doing quite well. I mean, and the stock-based compensation has been huge for the company, and a lot of that will be going to the sales team as well. So do you think that sales team is starting to dial in?
Well, there's a few things in regards to the sales team. I mean, one, you need the leads coming in to convert sales, right? And so the great thing for Palantir is when Alex Karp says something like, we've got, as many inbound calls in a month that we usually have in a year, gosh, that means there should be a massive amount of leads coming in for Palantir. And now it's just up for the sales team to close deals. So I don't want to dog the sales team too much for the numbers in 2022, which were pretty disappointing to all of us Palantir shareholders. I don't think there's anybody that looked at Palantir's revenue in 2022 and was happy. I think everybody was disappointed, right? Including myself. But I think a lot of that just came down to 2022 was a year where companies were very scared to spend on anything new, CapEx spending. People were trying to readjust their businesses, trying to figure out, are we going to do layoffs? Everybody got hit by the Fed raising rates at the fastest clip we've pretty much ever seen and was totally caught off guard. And so the business community kind of shut down a little bit in terms of just trying to figure out, where are we going? We were going to really spend $50 million a year on Palantir, $100 million. And so that makes it tough from the sales team if you don't have leads that are coming in that are at least warm. Now, there's a whole different dynamic. Every company out there, every government agency understands they have to leverage AI or they will be left behind. And so I can tell you the customers coming to Palantir now are going to be much more willing to do deals and a lot more in interest in listening to those sales teams to hopefully convert and get these deals done. So, and Alex Karp is still, in my opinion, the ultimate salesman for the company in terms of these monster deals. If you see something that's $100 million plus deal, just keep in mind it's probably Karp had a huge play in that. But we got to have more than just, obviously $100 million deal, a $500 million deal. We need a lot of these $10 million deals, these $5 million deals, $20 million deals. And that's not always going to be Karp involved in those sorts of deals. So.
So for Palantir to break through to the next level, in your opinion, what needs to happen? One thing for me as an investor, it could be, as an investor myself in Palantir, it could be their go-to-market strategy. We know that they often have to deploy a lot of engineers. Is there anything in particular you're looking out for Palantir to really break through to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, I got to try. At the end of the day, when you own a stock, you've got to have enough trust in the company that they're going to make the right decision, right? It would be easy for me to say, oh, Palantir should run their business similar to how Snowflake runs their business, or AWS, or they should make it easier to onboard clients or have free trials or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, the way I think about it is Palantir is going to do whatever is in the best interest of Palantir. I'm not in the nitty gritty of that business enough to make an educated assumption on they should do this way or that way. I haven't worked in that industry. My understanding is from, studying the financials and the business plans and looking at competitors and things like that, but not from actually working in it. It's different than if I had, if I was judging a retailer, because I come from the retail industry and management, so I have a judgment of that, right? Or if I was looking at housing, because I, have done work in the real estate industry and things like that. But for a business like that, I've just got to trust that Karp and the team knows what they're doing, and they're going to do what's best for the business. And there was an interesting comment, very interesting comment Alex Karp made that kind of went on the DL maybe a little bit in an interview recently. And he says, we would rather our customers try our product first, and then we can work out the deal later. Something along those lines. And it was not a lot of people caught that. And it did make me think, like, is that a little bit of a change in strategy? Is Karp's that confident in the product that he is willing to say, hey, we want you to try this, and then you tell us how much you're going to pay us for this, right? I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful. When you can put, because not a lot of people would do that, right? When he says our product's that damn good that you're going to tell us what you'd be willing to pay, and then we'll think about working out a deal. That's powerful. So, I trust Karp. I trust the team in whatever route they're going to go is the best route to go. At the end of the day, I'm just an investor. I'm not the CEO of the company. I don't want to act like I could run that company better than the COO could or Karp could or anybody. So.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting strategy. It's kind of, have a taste of the good stuff, and then we'll figure out money later. You're talking about confidence in the management there. How much of a high level confidence do you have in Karp and the rest of the executives we see on the calls?
Yeah, I gotta say I've grown more and more confident in their decision making and in the team over the last, I would say, 6 to 9 months. And I think Karp's done a really good job of doing more interviews, and I think he's doing a better job in the interviews. And I think the other thing is, like, when they do conference calls, showing the other members of the management team, which I've been impressed by all of them, to be honest. And so, and also I've talked to a lot of folks who are in the tech industry and are in, like, my private group, for example. And I've even talked to some folks that are in my private group that are from the military. And these folks actually use Palantir, like in real life, use their products. And I speak to a lot of them, and just like what I always come back with is, damn, Palantir's product is so amazing. And it's so amazing because Palantir's got one of the most incredible teams, the overall team in terms of product builders, that you'll find of any tech company in the world. And obviously Palantir is a very small company compared to companies like Google or Meta or Tesla or any of these other companies, right? But from what I see and what I hear, it could be argued that maybe Palantir is just as talented of a team as these other big tech companies. I've even had some people, that have told me stories inside the private group of things like, I applied for Google and for, I don't want to mention the specific companies, but I applied for this company, this company, this company. For Palantir, I didn't even make it past the first interview. But this company ended up giving me a job offer. And these companies are very impressive that gave them the job offer, but yet they didn't even make it past the first or second round with Palantir, which once again just shows me, like, dang, they got it together over there. So yeah, my confidence is very high in those guys.